Well, I think they're willing to take the risk, aren't they? They're just going to keep pushing and pushing, and you know, I think they probably will get back up to 5th place.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I think they will by the end of the race, if nothing else goes wrong. And you just never know. As you said before, they might make the podium. There could be 2 P1 cars go out, and then all of a sudden they're on the podium.
Well, 17 hours to go. Sorry to interrupt you there for a second. 17 hours to go, and there is 7 laps between Sarrazin and the lead LMP2 car, and then there is 6 laps. 9 laps is the difference between where Timo Bernhard is in 50th and the lead LMP2. So I think definitely they can make it up into that position.
Some good calculation there. Well done, Alan.
Thank you. I studied at school.
You went to school? I thought you were at a kart track.
I did. I read Autosport on a Thursday morning. I don't know how I got through double English or passed that exam.
So gradually, that's one of the visions you see in this 24-hour race, is this GT Pro class gradually creeping up onto the first page. Now we've got Darren Turner in 24th and Andy Proulx in 25th. So gradually they're just moving up, moving up, moving up. And if they keep going, there'll be more dramas with LMP2 cars, I'm sure. So it's always nice to see how those GT cars move up. Bit of exercise and keep everyone alert.
The number 27, SMP Racing Dallara. That's going to be in big trouble soon. It hasn't got its lights on at all. So never mind a safety thing, you have to have your lights on at all times when racing in the World Endurance Championship. He won't be able to see where he's going very soon because it's now getting more dark than light as the sun really has disappeared underneath the horizon. It is just gone 10 o'clock here local time at the Circuit de la Sarthe, here in the middle of France. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching around the world. The world's greatest 24-hour race, the Le Mans 24 Hours, is certainly into its stride. 7 hours since we were go as we ride on board with Andre Lotterer. He's within 25 seconds of the outright lead of this motor race.
They are keeping them honest, aren't they? They're keeping the Toyotas honest.
Yeah,
Well, him.
Yeah, true.
1 Porsche versus 3 Toyotas. Let's look at it that way.
Yeah, but those odds have sometimes gone in the favour of that one. Before, Lena Gade was talking earlier on about 2011. It was a similar sort of situation. And so you've just got to keep on going right towards the end. 6th gear coming through there as he's lifting off to the right-hander of and then karting still in 6th gear as accelerated through 240 kilometres per hour. That's 160 miles per hour.
I see you've got a question in from your wife there on Twitter, Alan. Can you answer that one? Can you read that one out?
Kelly's asking a housekeeping question. What do teams use to clean windscreens? Washing up liquid white vinegar? Get the lowdown, hashtag. It's actually a special product that is tested with the type of flies that are here in this area, because the flies and the rubber and the oil combination on the racing is very different to what it would be on the road, and so therefore it's a special product that certainly that we used to use that was specifically for the dirt and the rubbish that you get on a windscreen in Le Mans, and also against the tear-off as well, because it's not, if you have certain products that are stronger, then they can damage the tear-off.
Melt the plastic kind of thing. Degrade it.
Think of everything, don't they? They think of everything.
So yeah, Kelly, we can't use it on the windows at home. You can give it a go though.
Yeah, she wants you to bring a bottle home for her.
And there's never any sort of smear marks left, Alan. You know, they do it so quickly, but it's quite a clean view once they have done it.
Yeah, it is a clean view, but there was also, we used a different rag to put it on and a different rag to take it off.
Yeah,
and that's why they have two
wipe
rags.
on, wipe off, kind of Karate Kiddish.
It is a little bit Karate Kiddish in that respect. Well, actually, that's where we give them a video to train how to do it. You would see Miyagi.
So, Pedro Lamy now in the car for Paul Dalanan, leading car of GT Am, car 98, Aston Martin.
Will Stevens a little bit further behind him. Aaron Scott next up in the number 55 Ferrari, the Spirit of Race Ferrari. Back though with the Toyota. This is Kazuki Nakajima as he makes his way through the woods. Let's catch up with what Nakajima's got to say. Well, that's quite self-explanatory, isn't it? As the Toyota guys are getting ready. Nakajima soon to get out of that car. Probably Buemi getting in?
Yep, Sebastian Buemi's getting in. He was there suited and booted, ready to go. Unplugging the radio so that he would hear that last radio message from engineer to car.
Interesting.
Got into the bits, and that'll be it.
To me, is it for our benefit that they tell us that Sebastian's getting in?
No, for his.
Because normally for me, I don't really care who's getting in. All I need to know is I'm getting out. Whoever's getting in's getting in.
It depends whether he, for example, with Dindo Capello and I, we used to have the same lap strap lens, and so we'd never loosen the lap strap, but with Tom, it was a little bit wider on the hip, shall we say. We had to really widen it out, or he couldn't get in and we'd lose time at the pit stop. So it's, I would suggest, so that he knew what he had to do in terms of loosening belts off and things to allow Buemi to get back in. Here he is, in the pits now. Nakajima out. Sebastian Buemi in.
I think there is a bit of height difference between the two of them, isn't there?
And it's also regarding his insert seats, and they've obviously got a way of working at pit stops. I've got to be honest, I don't think they care if we know or not.
I like to think they like to care if we know.
One of the things that I showed Lena Gade before she came up here to the commentary box a couple of hours ago was the TV compound where there's, you know, the resulting images from 89 cameras positioned around this 8.5 mile racetrack. And I said, oh, that guy over there, he's listening to all of the radio chitter-chatter between all of the teams. And she was just blown away. She said, they've been listening to me all these years?
Black and white flag, car 7. Black and white flag, car 7 for constant abuse of track limits. Black and white flag, car 7 for constant abuse of track limits.
That's the leader of this race.
That's a statement, isn't it? You know, we've seen other warnings that he hasn't come on, he hasn't talked about. I think that's a statement to say, right, that's a leader, so you boys better just calm down.
But we had this earlier, Alan, I don't think you were with us. You can have a black and white flag, but what's the next naughty thing you can do? Yeah, use more than the racetrack, as he's already done. But what might be the penalty? Is that a yellow card and the next one's a red?
Yeah.
Is it just simple?
Can be a stop go, it can be a drive through. They've got the ability to do what they need to do with regard to that. You know, we've seen stop go penalties of 2 minutes before in the World Endurance Championship. So there can be quite, I would say, strict on that one. Car 27 though now has got a pit stop under investigation, Toby.
That was the car a moment ago that was going around without any lights on.
So it's pit stops under investigation
As well.
as the lights.
Buemi on his way. Buemi third in this race. He's 1 minute and 9 back of Andre Lotterer, but he has done one more pit stop than Andre Lotterer. So let's wait for the stagger to unravel as the Toyota boys are still analysing their pit stops. You did this, you did that, but if I do it the other way, maybe we can do it, and then it gives us a bit more space to then get going again. Okay? Yeah, all right, okay, let's think about that. Is maybe the conversation that's going on.
That's some good mind reading going on there.
Now, as I look out of the commentary position, the lights in the public area are now much brighter than much else I can see. This camera lens is really cheating you at home, and it's showing Le Mans lighter than it really is. The cameras are clever, but in real life it's darker than it looks.
Yeah, it certainly is, but now there's a few more people with must respect track limits in certain areas of the track, and part of that is because of that light, because it's a little bit more difficult to be exactly so precise, and they're still trying to maintain the speed. As you see a sort of snake of cars coming through the Dunlop and down through the S's, and they're just going to have to be a little bit careful that that doesn't then mean they get a black and white warning flag and then reported to the stewards, and then the stewards make a decision from there.
Running out of road, the number 95 Aston Martin that is
95.
Sorensen, yeah.
Yep, is Sorensen, and he's
Fighting.
Ferrari bird.
And he's got, that's for position, all of that lot. And we've got the LMP2, is that the Dutch car, or is it the Bratislava Ligier, trying to find its way through as it goes towards the first chicane. There's a Ferrari, and here comes a Porsche in the mix as well. Oh, one way then the other, he's going to get squeezed. Do they know he's there? Oh dear, oh dear.
Yeah, Porsche's got to be careful, because on the inside there's a little bit of a crown in the road, and he got the belly of the car on it, and that's why it was partly darting around as well. Oh, goodness.
Look at that! That's 950 brake horsepower, isn't it?
I think that was a little bit more than that as well.
Alan, thank you so much for being with us for a double, triple stint. I don't know what it was, but it's been as magnificent as always. Your insights, well, three-time Le Mans winner, is fantastic. We look forward to seeing you back in the commentary box.
In about 10 minutes. So
In
you've
about
got a 10-minute break.
Right, we got the
19.
front of this car off, and this is the class leader.
No. It's 97's the class leader, Darren Turner.
No, this is Am.
Lamy.
This is Am. This is Lamy. And he's had a moment, the front of that car is missing, and he's limping. And he's lost that right-hand side, so this is the battle for position. He's got about a third of the course still to go. Front right has punctured, and that's what's thrown the front wing off. And there's the debris in the middle of the racetrack on the way down to Indianapolis, and that's very dangerous indeed. And that will be a massive blow-up.
I wonder if that was contact, though. I'd like to see some kind of replay. Because...
Contact, Peter. He'll be at the barrier, surely.
No, contact with another car that punctured the tyre, rather than the tyre just puncturing on its own and blowing the front off like that. Because all those parts were in one area, if you know what I mean, rather than spread.
But if it hit another car hard enough to have that puncture, might he have then gone in the barrier, is what I was asking. It's quick there.
It's easier to control a front puncture than it is a rear puncture.
In the meantime, this is the leader of the 24 Hours of Le Mans for 2017. Frenchman Stéphane Sarrazin has been in the car for 200 minutes. 200 minutes. So he's quadruple stinted. Yes, he's quadruple stinted. 200 minutes. So that is a big run that Stéphane Sarrazin has done. And there you can see the speed on the wheel of Andre Lotterer, 59, just below the 60 km/h speed limit in to the pits.
So we've got third place, Stefan Muka into the pits now in the Ford 66 car. So we're going to get all the relative stops now. Within the next lap or two, all the GT cars will come in, or most of them.
Andre Lotterer out.
One in.
Is that Neil getting in? Looks like it. Yes, it is.
Red Bull driver, yeah. So a great stint by Lotterer there, a good 3 stints in fact. So. Only 21 seconds behind when he came into the pits, so as we were talking about, he's the sole Porsche who is keeping the Toyotas honest. On board with Mike Conway in the number 7. He will be pitting now. He's just leaving the pits. And Lotterer is coming after him.
Had to wait for the Aston Martin to come in. So a little bit of extra time.
So remember that gap, 21 seconds. Let's see what it's like once they get up to speed, back on track. So Pedro Lamy has now lost the lead officially in GT AM. He's down to 5th place. He's in the pits with damage. It's going to take a little while to get that fixed. Definitely going to need a new front wing, new front. It's not quite as easy as a prototype car to change the front. Because it's a GT car, it takes a bit more time. So I'd expect them to drop down the order a fair bit further. Disaster for them. They had a very clear lead. They were just easily just cruising along. They had the pace of everyone, and one little whatever happened, a tyre blow up or a touch. There's a car there.
Oh, treads come off.
With that.
So are they trying to remove some of the part of the wing that's stuck in the car so that they can even screw another one on? Is there a fixing still left on the car, but the carbon fibres come off?
Here we go. Yes.
Oh!
So you're right, it was just a clear blow-up. Nothing it could have done. Blew the wing right off the car. So there'll be carbon fibre on it. So we might see the possibility of punctures, other cars having punctures now.
Yeah, so I reckon that the mounting structure for that front wing is still in the car. The carbon's all gone west and it's all over the place 2 miles up the road, but they can't put the new wing on because the old mounting's still in place and they can't get it off.
Yeah.
Because it's been bent, and you could hear the guys from ProDrive saying, you know, what spanner do you need? Can I get it off? And there's 2 blokes who are not stupid at quick mechanicking. They can't get the mounting off because they haven't even started to get the wheel off.
Well, there's a lot of pressure on them.
And now they put it in the garage.
You've got to get the car in there. See, Pedro he's only been in the car for a few laps. Even 3 laps. So that would have been a new set of tyres on that car. So very unusual for that to blow up in that manner.
And of course, these guys are trying to keep to one side of the racetrack to keep away from all of the metallic Aston Martin green carbon fibre that's on that racetrack. That's pretty terrifying when you have that happen to you. At that speed, that's cracking on 180 mile an hour, 75 mile an hour.
But as I said, had that have happened on the rear, very easily could have rotated the car into the wall, so he was, in a sense, a little bit luckier having it happen on the front.
Okay, slow zone coming.
Car number 9 in Kunimoto into the pits this lap. In 4th position in the Toyota. So we have 1 and 8 running together there.
Driving, acceleration, braking, the electric motors. The electric motors are missing a special. Okay, we don't see any problem on the data at the moment. We don't see any problem on the data at the moment. The electric motors, they feel mechanical noise. 23 seconds from 33 seconds. Look at it. It's mechanical noise. When we break electric motors. Okay, copy that, sir. We don't see at this moment nothing on the data. We keep looking. There has to be getting more and more. It's going to break, I tell you. You need to find it.
Wow, that's big. That's big news. So there's a big noise coming from the front of that car when he's on the brakes because the drive shafts recharge the hybrid power, and he says the noise is getting greater and greater. The engineer back in the garage says, we cannot find a problem, and Seb's so adamant in his voice, Peter.
Yeah.
We got a problem. Believe me, I'm in the car and I can hear it.
Is that
smoke
my
coming out of it?
imagination, or is that smoke?
There is the smoke coming out of the back of that, and it's not because it's touching the floor and grounding out like a plank on a Formula 1 car or something. There is smoke coming out of the back of that. There is smoke coming out of the back of that. You are spot on, Peter. There is smoke coming out of the number 8 Toyota. And he's got Neil Jarni right on his tail as we ride on board with the Swiss, chasing the Swiss.
So there doesn't seem to be any performance loss right now,
But that's what the engineers can see. They say, what's the problem with the car, Sebastian, in the Toyota? We can't see a problem, but the smoke coming out.
number 1 are going to report to us now.
You cannot see well out of the screen. The screen is off. It's really weird. It has like a fog on it.
That's oil. That's oil on the screen then, isn't it?
Yes,
Simple.
that's what that smoke is.
1 + 1 = 2, and that's the problem for Neil Jarni.
So sooner or later, that Toyota is going to run out of whatever that oil it is that is burning, and is going to have a problem. So they're going to have to pit that car sooner or later. But they're not losing performance right now.
Well, that's worrying times for Toyota, because you cannot afford any smoke to come out of the back of your car, whatever it may be. Let's have another catch up with what Buemi has got to say. Is there a problem?
Except for now, from the electric motor, all looks okay. All looks okay. It might be mechanical. We might not see this. So now we carry on. We have to carry on after this.
Okay, so they can't see anything. Just got to keep going.
Yeah.
Gotta keep going.
That is clear. You wouldn't just pit for the sake of pitting.
No.
And we can see here on the screen that there is something coming out the back. The Porsche has, Yanni has also seen that on his screen, so it all adds up. But as I said, there's no performance loss right now, so you just keep going until something does happen.
Or not.
Or not.
Never know.
Well, that would be a miracle if it didn't happen.
Correct. Okay, Gert is down there in the pits, and I believe you're down there with Aston Martin. What news?
I'm in the Aston pit indeed with Paul Dalla with Pedro Lamy still in the car. Paul, you had a great stint yourself, but then Pedro went out, and it was just a blow-up. What happened?
Yeah, it looks like he got some debris in the tire and it let go, and it was right at a very high-speed place on the track, so obviously took off a lot of body work. It looks like it took off some brake lines. These guys are pros. They'll get it back together, but wow, what a difference a couple minutes makes. So now we really have to fight through the night and see if we can get back in a decent position.
Was there a part of the wing stuck or the wing mount that was stuck that they couldn't get a car in?
You know, listen, there was a lot of damage when the tire let go, so I think, you know, they're going to have to replace, you know, the front splitter. It looks like, you know, all the dive planes and certainly the front quarter panel and some brake lines and stuff like that. So let's hope they find everything.
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, a long way to go for that Aston Martin of Dalla Lana, the number 98 car. Peter, you reckon that Sebastian Buemi, number 8 Toyota, is smoking even through a slow zone?
Yeah, you could see it at low speed, and in fact you could see the smoke even better at the low speed there, and a fair amount of it. And yeah, we've already heard Neil Yanni reporting that it's all over his screen, and he's finding it very difficult to see. So he's actually fallen back slightly now, which is probably the best thing to do, because otherwise he's just going to get the screen more and more and more oily. And of course, if he was to put his wiper on and try and wipe that, it's an absolute no-no, because it would just wipe that oil all over the screen. So he's going to wait till his next stop to have that cleaned by his mechanics.
And if it's gearbox oil, it's thicker than engine oil. It's horrible stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, he'll be smelling it inside his car as well.
Stinks. So, the number 7 Toyota still leads, Mike Conway, 22 seconds ahead of this car that we are with, Sebastian Buemi, who is 2 seconds ahead of the only competitive Porsche now in this race, because the sister Porsche had to have its hybrid unit replaced, and at the moment that is back in 46th position. 18 laps back. Let's go back in with Sebastian Buemi for the latest news. What is the problem?
It's never hard intro, it's never. We still keep looking into it. What position are we? Peter 24 seconds behind the bike. And Piani is just behind you. 25 seconds behind? Why is that possible? Why is that possible? I lost 10 seconds in 2 laps. Seven lost 10 seconds in 2 laps. He went into slow zone and Mike not simple.
Let us do the calculations. I think there was an element of that going on, but you know what it's like as a driver, Peter. Your brain's running at 1,000 frames per
He's
second.
thinking too much
Yeah.
there. I mean, he was unfortunate because, as the engineer said, Mike got past the slow zone before it actually opened up, and he just happened to hit the slow zone and lose some time. He's pushing on though. He's taking some good old risks right up to the barrier and exit. He means business here, Buemi.
Yeah, but I'll never forget, and I know it's not endurance racing, but it is in another form of motorsport. There was an Acropolis rally, and there was a Mitsubishi with Kenneth Eriksson, and he went off on the first stage or something of a big, long, hot, dusty, very rocky rally, and he thought, I'm dead last, I'm not going to win it, I'm going to drive over every rock, cut every corner, and see if I can break the car. He didn't break the car, and he finished on the podium.
There you go.
3.5 days later, because the car was bulletproof. Sometimes you might get away with it.
Car 23 in the pits now. That's the Barthez car, the Ligier. He's quite well down the order. Drive-through penalty, overtaking under next slow zone.
Well, that thing doesn't want to get started. Oh, it doesn't want to get started. Look at the car. Where's the car? Here we go.
Right, no, that's big news. Look, car 31 is Senna, leader of P2. Drive-through penalty, overtaking under next slow, but I guess that's in the slow zone.
So the leader of LMP2 is going to have a drive-through penalty. He will lose that lead. He will go back to third, fourth position by a quick mental arithmetic. It's all changing here. We've got a change of lead of LMP2 about to come up because Senna overtook under yellow. And we've got Buemi in second place in LMP1 with a car that he reckons he's got a problem with. We can see smoke or something coming out of the back of it, but the engineers can't see a problem on the data at the moment.
Yep. So car 31 with this, I guess it's 3 laps. He's got to report to the pits within 3 laps. And at that stage, the sister car of Nelson Piquet Jr., number 13, will take the lead.
Rock concert going on for the fans trackside here. That's going to be a full house. I forget who they've got in tonight, but there's so much to be entertained with away from the racetrack. Some people, they just sit in their deck chairs trackside and fall asleep there. It's going to be a very, very warm night for so many people camping locally here as the number 7 lead car passes the WeatherTech Ferrari in GTE AM. And at the moment, it is Bill Sweedler driving that car in 5th position. On board with the leader of this motor race, the Brit, Mike Conway. So he's not braking so aggressively because he knows if he brakes too aggressively, all he'll do is sit at the apex waiting for these guys to get out of the way, or waiting for him to get past them. Look at him using that hybrid power, top left of your screen, as he pours the horsepower into the front axle. Hello, I'm here, I'm coming through, and through he goes on the way down to Indianapolis. Quick stuff.
So to compound matters for car number 98, Pedro Lamy, they've got a pit infringement as well.
In the meantime, let's go to our race director.
Information to the pit lane, stewards decision number 27.
this information
Yeah.
that we had on the screen a moment ago. Those
Confirmation.
radio delay messages, Peter, as you know, they're a little bit delayed. They're listened to by the people at the TV compound,
Yes.
vetted, so there's nothing rude in them, and then they are replayed for us on the TV feed. So they are, 30, 45 seconds behind real time.
Going back to what I was saying about the Paul Dalla Lana, Pedro Lamy, number 98, Aston. So they came into the pits with a blown up front right tyre, which blew the wing right off the car. They then went to work in the pit lane, and I think they maybe infringed with too many people working on the car. So what they've done is pushed it back into the box. It would be very harsh if the organisers did give them some sort of penalty as well, because they've lost so much time anyway. But let's see what happens with them in the fullness of time. That car is still in the pits.
Beautiful view of the pits area here, as it really is getting dark here at the Circuit de la Sarthe. Hugues de Schonack looks on, the man who knows about Le Mans. He knows about what's needed to win Le Mans. So close last year, so close last year. Technically, one say, as Anthony Davidson says, I won Le Mans, it just didn't let me win. That is how close it was. The Rebellion guys look on, and they know that it's, all arms folded and the shoulders have gone down, because they're waiting for Bruno Senna to come into the pits and have his drive-through penalty for passing under yellows. Well, yellow flags, of course, you can't see them at night, but there's yellow flashing lights, isn't there, trackside?
Yeah. They should still leave the pits in second place, because they've got a fairly healthy lead over the third place 38 car of Ollie Jarvis.
On board with Sebastian Buemi. That is the view back to Neil Jarni. Just quarter of a second, the difference between this Toyota and that Porsche behind us.
So whatever that oil is, it still hasn't burnt itself out yet. I'd love to know what's going on there.
You can't afford anything to come out of the back of these cars. They are absolutely running at 100%. There's no margin for error.
We still see
still
it there.
coming out.
Yeah, still see it. So there is a reservoir in there somewhere.
That's going down.
It's going down, yeah.
I'd love to have an onboard from Jarni to see what his screen is like.
Yeah, as I said before, he's fallen right back now. The gap's 1.5. He looked to be as quick as Buemi earlier on, but then that oil started to come, and I think he's just taking the sensible choice of just sitting back a bit. There's no point in, mucking your car up. So car 98, Pedro Lamy should still be at the wheel of that car, getting back into the race. They've dropped down to 52nd now, so they're really only second last in AM now.
Yeah, they've dropped 2-3 laps. Let's see when they come out of the pits. Not good, unfortunately.
Well, Paul Dalla Lana did say, we're going to have to push hard through the night now. He was pragmatic, let's say, about it. I think there's still a long way to go, and I think they still could get back in this. But they've got to have a faultless race now. They can't afford anything else to go wrong.
Is there still a problem with this number 8 Toyota? It's in second place. 24 seconds back of its sister car that's leading it. Only one Porsche in a chance of winning this 24 Hours of Le Mans, and that, at the moment, is in third place. The Toyota comes past our commentary position. That is the number 31 Rebellion. That's Bruno Senna in the pits. Now, you can't do a drive-through and a pit stop at the same time.
That's right. So you have to expect he's going to come back into the pits. He's going to leave here, go around and come back into the pits again.
Because you've got to do it in 3 laps, was it?
I think so, yeah. So he, or has he done it already? And now this is his scheduled stop, because he's dropped to third now.
No, but he's still on the same lap. No.
Well, remember,
we
you
haven't
don't
lost
actually
enough time.
lose. You don't lose that much time for a drive-through, do you?
Let's find out when he comes out.
So I think he might have done it already. I don't know. Did we miss that?
Last pit stop, 32 seconds. Yes, and now, yeah, he did a 32-second drive through from pit in to pit out, and that was 1 minute 25.
Right.
So yeah, you're right, Peter.
So Jarvis has now jumped him, but I expect Jarvis is probably due for a pit stop fairly soon as well.
Around the outside then goes Bruno Senna. He's got some work to do. Tracy Crone, the number 83 DH Racing Ferrari 488. Nicholas Johnson and Andrea Bertolini in that car. They in number 83, Bertolini at the helm at the moment, the Italian, going into the night.
Factory Italian driver for a long time, Bertolini. It's a lot of work out in Italy. He gets to actually drive all the old Formula 1 cars.
Oh, like Marc Genet.
Yeah. So he's at Fiorano a lot, and yeah, if you follow him on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, you see a lot of pictures of him and driving various Formula 1 cars. He's a lucky man, lucky man.
Marc Genet, I saw a picture of him on Twitter earlier, and he was in a 1990 Mansell Prost car, the 641, you know, the flat nose, the Coke bottle.
Yeah.
Lovely. Get paid to drive that round all day? Tough. Look at that view. That's the view towards the pits, and then the Dunlop Bridge you can see over on the middle right-hand side, the paddock banks like middle of your shot.
Yeah.
There's a karting track.
That's very well lit up, isn't it?
And look at that. Look at the colours of the horizon and the sunset. The airport to the left-hand side, a lot of corporate private jets whizzing in and out throughout the build-up to this motor race. The big boss, the boss of Toyota, being flown in. And then going into the night over on the right-hand side, down the Mulsanne Straight. There are areas of this racetrack that are sort of cut off from public view. There's no spectators in that part of the racetrack, and yeah, the track really starts to come alive. You know, the ghosts start to come out of the trees, and yeah, a bit like the Nürburgring that you know, Peter. It's got a soul, it's got an atmosphere, it's got a beating heart to it, as well as actually changing character for the drivers underneath their tyres right now.
Yeah. I mean, I really enjoy this time. You know, it's almost peaceful out there in the darkness, and you sort of get on with your stint, and you're focused in on what you're doing, and because you've already driven in the daylight already, you're up to speed in the night. And you know, there's areas that are quite well lit, and then there's other areas that are a bit dark. But it is such a cool thing to drive flat out through the trees in the dead of night, and then gradually, if you're the person in the car, the driver in the car who sees the sun up, that's a pretty cool thing as well, because it's actually quite difficult to begin with, because on a day like today, the sun comes up, there's no cloud cover, so you're just seeing this glowing orb up from the horizon, and you know, if you've got the wrong visor on your helmet, if you made the wrong choice, you've got no protection, so you kind of got to squint your eyes.
Battle for 7th in GTE Pro. Garcia battling with Leitz and Rugolo.
I wouldn't want to call a winner from GT Pro. It's you know, they're all so strong, and even though, you know, Darren Turner's in the lead in the Aston Martin, but as you say, they're all on the same lap, and there's been a couple of little issues, so maybe Christensen's down a minute and 58 behind, but you know, there's barely anything between from like third or fourth all the way down to the end.
Leader to 10th position in class for GTE Pro, 52.4 seconds. We've been running for I can't do me sums here, my watch stopped. No, we've been running for 7.75 hours, yeah. Within a minute.
Yeah. So that's the state of play nowadays, isn't it? We always talk about how this race has become a sprint race for 24 hours because the cars are getting that bit more reliable. So you're kind of leaving it to driver error or, you know, team error in the pits or something like that. That's what's happening. But you know, you've got these teams that are so professional now that they don't tend to make mistakes. You've got factory drivers out there who are paid a lot of money also not to make mistakes. So it's fascinating how this race has developed from the days of when they used to have to nurse a car around for hours on end just to get to the end, and they'd probably win, you know, because the other cars would break down and they'd go out. So nowadays they're just driving flat out, and that's through this heat as well.
I mean, you know, the technology that has come forth with cooling, how a turbocharged rallycross car can lose 100 degrees of air temperature in under 2 seconds going through the intercooler. It can lose 100 degrees of air temperature in under 2 seconds before it goes back into the engine.
Wow.
Quite staggering numbers that technology is able to do nowadays. Quite something, you know. And as you say, they test it, and there's more 30-hour tests for the LMP1 cars nowadays than the Rothmans Porsches back in the 83, 84. They didn't sort of do things like that. In the meantime, Andy Priaulx has just got out of his Ford GT. Let's hear from him. In a moment's time, Geert is running around down there in the outside the Ford garage. Andy Priaulx, European touring car champion, winner of Macau in the touring car, and a 3-time world touring car champion as well. Andy Priaulx, MBE, let's not forget.
And lovely fella.
And top bloke.
To top it all off.
And top bloke to top it all off. His 3rd generation of Priaulx now racing with Seb after Andy's father Graham, Andy himself, and now Seb, who I believe is here this weekend.
So his car running down in, was that 8th position?
Okay, far away. It's all yours, Andy Priaulx with Geert. Geert, it's all yours.
Now we're with Andy Priaulx. Andy, second in T-Pro. It's very close, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a really tough fight. Very difficult with all the full course yellows there, and you know, the tyre just coming and going. It was difficult to get any grip in the tyre. But yeah, we're in it. We're fighting hard. I think Chevrolet's closing, Corvette's closing quite a lot. Yeah, I mean, it's by no means done, but we're in the race.
Okay, well, too many voices going on at once. Apologies, Geert, and more importantly, apologies to Andy Priaulx, who was telling us about his stint down there. But yeah, news from the number 8 Toyota, Buemi, sticking
Caliper, brake caliper, yeah.
That's going to wear that disc out pretty quick, though.
Well, from Buemi's point of view, he completely does not agree with it. You heard him. He's like, no, impossible. And I'm also wondering, how can you get all that smoke coming from a caliper?
Carbon disc, yeah.
Well,
remember, it's not supposed to look like dust because it was the light behind the car illuminating the dust. Maybe in the daylight we wouldn't have seen it.
But that would mean that the brake is binding on, and we saw from Neel Jani that he couldn't get anywhere near him on the straight, so you think that car would be slower in the straight line.
And in theory, the carbon disc would be glowing. Let's go back on board for the latest from Sebastian. Oh, yeah, they're clearing the garage. So finally, the team seem to have accepted the driver's gut instinct from his backside.
What I hope now is that if they'd have pulled him in 5 to 10 laps earlier, they could fix it quicker. You know, if that is the case, and now they're going to take longer, then he's going to be a very angry driver.
Yeah, look at the smoke. Look at it. That brake, is it dropping? In fact, it's on fire. Yeah, that's very hot indeed. So
yeah,
as I said, if it was daylight, we might not have seen the smoke or the brake dust coming out of the back of that car, but it was illuminated 5, 6, 7, 8 laps ago by the car behind it. And this is the car in second place.
So they're going to fuel that car, and I think they'll take it into the box, won't they? Yes.
Yeah, so the Porsche is now in second place, 33 seconds behind the leader. The lone Porsche, the lone challenge from the Germans against the 3 Japanese is in second place. Mike Conway still leads this race, and that's going to be very, very hot indeed as they take that tyre off, and there's a lot of smoke, and it'll be choking inside that garage. Choking.
I think Buemi's going to be choking. He seemed very angry on the radio. He's going to be shouting at them now, but, you know, I suppose they also need time to assess what was going on with the car, and yeah, it seems like they were right. It was caliper, something to do with the caliper.
But I'm surprised, and I wish we had Alan here, I thought they had a brake temperature sensor. Is that a thing that's doable? Pass.
I don't know that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, modern P1 cars. In a GT car, normally not. No. But maybe in a P1 car.
They got to cool that down with a lot of air. So, brilliant that we've got this fly cam mounted on a wire above the pit lane, and we can look down into that garage and see exactly what's going on. And that cover around the brake disc, of course, making it extra hard for the guys to see exactly.
And it keeps
what
the heat
they will, and of course it keeps the heat in, so it just
yeah.
compounds the problem again and again and again and again. Keeps the heat in to keep the rim warm, to keep the carcass warm, to give you the grip.
So another news, car 71, which is Davide Rigon Ferrari. He's obviously got some kind of issue. He's up to something anyway, because the team manager of that car has had to report immediately to race control.
That must be abuse of track limits, Peter, because Sam Bird was abusing the track limits earlier.
Yes.
Same car,
different
driver in at the moment.
That's
so
right.
Maybe something's up there.
That could be a good guess.
So if you are just joining us, the Porsche is up to second position of Neil Jarni. The number 1 Porsche is up to second place because the previous second place car is there. It's in the pits and it's losing precious time very quickly indeed. The leader of this 24-hour race, as we come up to 8 hours of running, is Mike Conway in the number 7 Toyota. It's 36 seconds ahead of Neil Jarni's Porsche, going quicker lap on lap to the tune of about 4 seconds. But yeah, big drama indeed for Buemi. Something wrong with the front right caliper, brakes, whatever it was, it's in the garage.
But he did, on his initial radio transmission, he did talk about a strange noise coming under braking, didn't he? Corvette has been in the wall. Which one is that?
And that's not only got a puncture, the rear wing is all damaged. It's all askew. He's gone in backwards, he's gone round, he's going to go in.
So that's Tommy Milner. I think he's had a puncture, blown out, probably on the rear, and that's what's put him into that spin and then into the wall. We saw Pedro Lamy earlier blowing out front right, which didn't affect it. He could still keep going and not crash. But this is a bigger one. This is going to take even more time.
And in fact, he's going to spin on the way in. He spun on pit lane entry. He's completely gone, and he's put it in the gravel. So he was limping it in, and he spun at a speed of, I don't know, 40 kilometers an hour, and the poor guy had nowhere to go, and he is beached because the rear left was punctured. There's no way that thing's going to get going. Here we go, into the right, and then there's no weight on the outside.
Yeah, he's got no wheel on there, no tyre on there at all. It's just the rim. Other GT cars coming in now, driving right by him. So he's going to need a little push from something, marshals, something, just to get him moving a little bit forward, and he can get going again.
You're going to need a lot of marshals to get that car moved out of the gravel, because it's on its belly. It's beached on the edge of the tarmac, right on the edge of the tarmac.
Have we got a slow zone there now?
We've got a yellow flag.
It is, I mean, it's well off the track, of course, but it is still on the pit lane entry.
So he locked up there, and he thought he would be perfectly okay, but as the weight transfers to the rear left,
You know, he
there's no rim.
let himself roll back. He could have stopped the car. He let himself roll into the gravel. He should have just stopped it and then got back in the throttle and driven over the grass.
So close.
Ollie Gavin there in the pits. Yeah. So the tyre's just blown out and he's lost it. Nothing he could have done then.
Did he say you could see the sparks before he hit the wall? So yeah, he had that puncture. You were right in your initial summarization. Quick deep breath, right.
It's all going on now.
It is, and the Porsche in second place is losing big time. 7 seconds a lap did Neil Jarney lose on that last lap to Mike Conway, and all of a sudden, it's now a 43-second lead of the number 7 Toyota over the number 1 Porsche. Conway against Jarney. In the meantime, the number 8 Toyota is in the garage. And as they're getting this structure from above the car down to do something, to hold something. Oh yeah, major heart surgery going on here. Major heart surgery. They had a problem with that right front, smoke pouring out of it, extinguisher being put on to put the fire out on the brake disc, the brake area.
Meanwhile, Tommy Milner is still sitting on the entry to the pit lane, stuck in the gravel.
He can't do anything. The only thing he can do is sit in the seat.
Is wait, yeah, switch the engine off and wait.
And nobody's going to his rescue.
That's odd. Is it because there is a marshal walking out a little bit, one single marshal.
That's a 1,200 kilo car. One
Yeah,
bloke isn't going to move
not
it.
gonna do any-
No.
So I guess they're waiting for some kind of vehicle to just pull him out. He only needs to be pulled out 2-3 feet and he can drive up on his own again.
And the marshal has gone back to base because, quite rightly, there are still cars coming into pit lane at quite a speed because that's before the pit lane speed limit. And it looks fine through TV and fine from our position, but when you're there, all of a sudden, you really are putting yourself in danger.
So we've got a double yellow at that post. There's finally a marshal going out to him now. What is he going to do? Is he going to just try and push? No, he's just going to go and talk to the driver for the moment. And is that? Yeah, I think there is a vehicle coming now.
Toyota Boxer.
Yeah, there's a Tonka toy coming to pick him up.
Też w Toyocie walnęło, też będą ją trzymać długo.
This is all off screen at the moment, but it's immediately. Here we go.
So yeah, I mean that's going to require a lot of work. The wing's completely off, so they'll have to bolt a new wing onto that. I'm sure the car is drivable with some new bodywork on it. Superficial damage, but it will take a lot of time. Ollie Gavin just has to watch on. He's gutted. Look at him, poor guy.
Chevy Corvette that won here 2 years ago. Not having much fun at the moment.
Ty, no bo się za szybko wjeżdżał, bo
Lead car for Chevy, now Jan Magnussen.
Znaczy go odwróciło, no. Schrzanił to. Już był
10th
w boksach,
position
a teraz
in
muszą czekać.
GTE
So that
run.
takes one more GT Pro car out of the mix. The Aston 97 of Daniel Serra still leading in the GT Pro class. Harry Tinknell in the Ford second, and then a Porsche of Michael Christensen third. So nicely mixed between the manufacturers there. PK Jr. leading in P2 class, number 13. He took the lead from Bruno Senna, who got a penalty and had to do a drive-through for overtaking under yellow flags. In fact, we have another drive-through penalty coming up on the screen, car 71, which is David Rigon in the Ferrari.
Abuse of track limits from Bird earlier.
Track limits, exactly,
and
yes.
then he got a black and white warning flag, like a yellow
so that
card.
is the first penalty applied for track limits to any car.
Good call, yeah, absolutely. And
Alan, we talked about that, and Alan thought, nah, they probably will just they'll warn them, but they probably leave them alone.
What's the point?
Clearly they're not. Clearly they are going to, you know, push through those penalties. So drive-through penalty, which isn't the end of the world.
As Bruno Senna has proved,
it's a
he lost
30-something second penalty.
Yeah, and Bruno Senna is only 15 seconds behind the LMP2 class leader.
We're just watching the Milner crash again.
And he's spun on the way.
So he's out. He's been pushed out by the Tonka toy, as you say. So he is on his way back. He must be back in the pits by now. No, he's still attached, in fact.
Dragging him.
So yeah, they just need to release him, let him go. Just put him down, let him go, and let him drive into the pits.
Okay, he's actually going to rejoin on the penultimate corner of the Bugatti circuit that is used for the bikes, and then he will have a clean way into the pits. But quite a tight corner to turn actually onto the pit lane.
Well, he'll take
it easy. In the meantime, let's catch up with what's going on with the number 92 Porsche.
Dropped into third after the pit stop cycle, so we're back in the game. So Michael, you're currently fastest car on track. Back to the board in front. You're 2 seconds faster. You're 2 seconds behind, and only 14 seconds behind the leader at the moment.
He is back in the game, isn't he, Michael Christensen? He is 14 seconds behind the GTE Pro leader, Daniel Serra, then Tinknell in the Ford, then Christensen in the Porsche, 1, 2 and 3.
So we did talk
that
about
92 Porsche was miles away about an hour and a half ago.
Exactly. We talked about, I think we did talk about an hour and a half ago.
Why is he down there?
How it could all change come night time, and now we see Christensen, his team egging him on. His lap time's good, closing up. Confirmation of that drive-through penalty for car number 71.
Yeah, of course, the Ferrari, Rigon, Bird and Molina. What a great sounding car this 911 RSR is. Proper stuff.
It's a downshift. That's the most impressive. When he hits the brakes in the downshift, it just...
Oh, look at this. They're taking the screen out. They're taking everything out. That's front MGU, the motor generator unit, the hybrid unit. That's major heart surgery. That car is not going to win this motor race. That's it.
Never say never. After all, I'm now looking across at the board. The car number 2, the Porsche, is now up to 36th place overall. So it's a long way behind the leaders, but we can see how quickly things can change.
Peter, the Chevrolet Corvette has got going. It's got out of the gravel trap. There's nothing on that rear left, and it's going to go into the garage, get a new wing, and get a Hoover out of half of the countryside of the Circuit de la Sarthe as well.
So they will get back into the race, but they will rejoin several laps down.
I mean, the irony is the accident he got away with. It was the unlucky spin on the way to the pit lane that cost him the time.
The biggest amount, but he still needed to, he still inflicted the damage from the wall during that spin. So that was going to need fixed anyway, but yeah, he did lose extra time. So we've got car 66 report to the manager of that car to report to the race director as well, which is the Ford. So, do we think that they're going to have the same issue as well with the track limits?
66 car at the moment is
Are they about to get a penalty?
Olivier Plat, he's 4th in class.
See, I was keeping notes on who was. Where's that bit of paper? I was keeping notes on who was running and getting all the warnings. So let me look down. 1, So while I was doing it earlier on, I can only see one warning for car 66, but he might have got more in the time after that.
Got it confirmed. Okay, Rob Lloyd is down there at Toyota. Take it away, Gert.
We're here with Rob Lloydman of Toyota. Rob, what exactly is the issue on Sebastian's car?
We have a problem on the HV system, the front motor, and this is what we have to repair now. It's, we say we have to see how big the damage is. It will be a longer repair. Difficult to say how long, but we will lose now quite some laps against the car number 7 and the car number 1 and also car number 9. So it will take a
Sebastian was reporting a problem over the radio that you couldn't detect on the sensor. Was that the issue that he was reporting?
Apparently yes, we couldn't see anything on the data, so the race engineers asked the engineering team to check it, and then the problem became more apparent. Now at the time, yes, it was then what Sebastian has reported, and now it's saying front motor replacement, part of the suspension and seal.
Thank you.
So, big news as that car is getting the front motor unit replaced. You heard it from Rob through Gert, and it was also confirmed on the Toyota LMP1 Twitter a moment ago as well. Right. Number 7 Toyota leads this motor race, still 44 seconds ahead of Neil Jani, who is back on lap pace with the leader. This is the 3rd position car. It's got Nico Lapierre at the helm at the moment. A lap down.
He's now pitting as well, so it's, I think, a standard pit stop for him.
So he's doing an extra pit stop. He's doing an extra. He's done. That's pit
No,
stop number 11.
I think that car was first to stop, the first of the P1s to stop.
Because it had the damage on the headlight after the bollard got kicked up by the collars on the first lap.
So it took it out of sequence.
Out of sync, yeah.
And yeah, he's the first to stop. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen with this car 66, the Ford of Olivier Pla. What's going to happen when the team manager meets the race director and how that's going to go, because we might see a penalty heading his way as well. Clean stop there, driver stayed in, just fuel it seemed.
And they exit Linus Stern as the Toyota uses its electric power, but only now uses the full internal combustion engine power. Interesting that they go down literally with their side lights on, and just as they get to the pit lane exit, the full lights come on, just to save that little bit of generation of electricity, or usage of electricity, should I say.
They do think of everything, don't they?
No, it's every advantage you can get before you actually get to the racetrack itself. Use it, use it, use it. Mike Conway, haven't seen much of him, but he is due to come in very soon.
He's just quietly putting the laps in, putting the lap times in, very consistent. Last lap 3:22, just smashing them in, bang, 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 getting on with his job.
One thing we haven't mentioned, Peter, is that this is the car that so nearly won last year. But here we are 12 months later.
Yes, that is pretty sad. And yeah, you would think now it's very difficult for that car to win. Anything can happen here, but you know, if the consistency and the reliability stay with the 7 and the number 1 car for the rest of the race, then you would think one of them would be the winner. Of course, the number 9 is not in the picture, and quite often it's the underdog that does win. So, in fact, if I had a betting app on my phone and I had a few quid in it, I'd put money on number 9 right now.
It was the 3rd Porsche that won 2 years ago. Hulkenberg, Bamber,
exactly,
and Nick Tandy. It was the 3rd Peugeot that won in 2009 with Brabham, Genet, and Alex Wurz. The wrong car, as it were.
Yes.
So yeah, the number 9 is that 3rd car. as the leader comes into the pits and has a service. Said a moment ago that it should be coming in, and it's beaten me to it. As the windscreen gets cleaned, Mike Conway staying in. Oh, quick service, boys. Well
believe
done.
how quick that is.
Well done.
They've got a new wing on that. I mean, those Corvettes are strong. We know that. But that's impressive. So 7 away out the pits. Conway looks like he's still on board. We should know as soon as he crosses the line at the end.
So pit stop number 10 completed for the number 7 car at just gone 11 o'clock here local time in France. That's 8 hours that we have had over the running of this 2017 Le Mans 24 Hours, the 85th running of the world's greatest endurance race. Did he put tyres on that?
I don't think so.
I don't think so,
No.
just fuel, wasn't it?
So they are doing at least 3 stints in the tyres at the moment anyway, until they might go and try a 4th, I'm not sure. I think if I was I'd be more inclined to do it if I was a Porsche. You know, take the risk a little bit, try and jump them that way. But I think with Conway's lap times are good, the Toyota number 7, they just need to keep doing what they're doing. Oh, that was a big wing going in there though. He missed his apex, you could see the car darting around a bit, he got a bit of oversteer going in. So he's pushing on, that's clear. Full tank of fuel. Tyres obviously got a little bit cold on that sitting in the pits. So Bruno Senna only 7 to 8 seconds behind Piquet, and bearing in mind he's had a drive-through penalty as well for an infringement, then those 2 cars, the 13 and the 31, both Rebellion P2 cars, first and second, they're running very close together. Will Stevens in the Ferrari AM car, GT AM 84, is leading that class with Rob Bell and Aston Martin number 90 in second. Long-time leader Paul Dalla Lana in the 98 had a problem earlier on. Pedro Lamy at the wheel, he blew a tyre and blew the wing right off the car. He's now running down 52nd spot after having the car repaired.
So, as they come out of karting and down towards the pits, the race goes on as we pick out a Ferrari and then one of the 4 GTs with more lights on it than Las Vegas this year. Red, green, blue. 4th colours. It'll be yellow for the number 69. That is the Toyota crew.
Working flat out, trying to get that thing back on track.
Oh, bits coming out of it. Oh, taken hours to fit and make, and they just rip it out in half a moment. And they must be thinking, what have we done to deserve this?
So is that pass for
Position
67?
Yep, that is Harry Tincknell getting ahead of Michael Christensen.
Right, so up to 2nd place. Well, we knew that Christensen was running 3rd anyway, so either they swapped places already or they yeah, maybe.
Mouse.
Yeah.
And Olivier Platt is right behind them.
Yeah,
that's the 3rd yellow.
They're
button.
all running
And
within a second of each other.
3rd and 4th.
Yes, they're running within a second of each other.
Bit of a wiggle there from the Ford. The Porsche's got a good run. Porsche's got a great run. How close can they touch? They touch.
Oh, Christensen just showing him that I'm here, buddy. Don't try and squeeze me. I'm right here.
I'll squeeze you back. Level, level, level. The Ford is on the inside line for Mulsanne, though, Peter.
It is.
The Porsche's trying to go around the outside.
Well,
You can't get through there.
And all the time, the Ferrari's sitting behind as well.
Porsche's got great speed. Look at this. He'll get past now, and he's got the inside line. And there goes a Jackie Chan car, kicking up all the dust and the aftermath from the Lamy puncture.
Actually, yes, it's Olivier Pla and the Ford just behind them, just waiting, watching. Going to pick up any pieces should they come together. It's a great motor race. This far into the race, and these second, third, and fourth are covered by less than a second.
You must be leaning forward in your seat to try and make the car go quicker at times if you're in a battle like this. Nothing between them.
Yeah.
Egging the thing on.
Well,
pushing the pedal through the bulkhead.
That's the thing. You're part of you're thinking, right, you know, I want a close race. I want to get back by him. But you're also thinking of the big picture that, well, I mustn't come together with him and put myself in the wall, or, you know, do something like that. So you kind of got, yeah, you got to take it easy, but at the same time fight hard. So the Porsche seems quick through there. It's going to be hampered here, though. Slightly hampered. The Ford should close back up a little bit. He did run wide there. He used all four wheels off, got hampered himself.
That's Timo
And
Bernhard
the
rushing
Porsche's
through.
into the pits, and the Ford behind Pla is also into the pits. So that's Christensen and Pla both into the pits. Tinknell continues. That's a shame. I was looking forward to that battle for the next few laps. It's all very well us sitting here. Yeah, go on, boys.
New screen, as it were. Tear off being removed, lights being cleaned. Guy with a torch on the right-hand side, just checking the brakes, giving it a bit of a once-over. That is Olivier Pla staying in the car. Okay, I'm all right, he says. I'm okay. Maybe a change of drink, water, drinks bottle. Old one out, new one in. Shut the door, shut the door. Is it shut? They had door problems at Silverstone, with the door popping open.
Yeah.
So they're making extra sure that door is going to stay shut.
So is that the Porsche just in front? So the Porsche has maintained its position. So that fight will continue.
Yeah, let's have a look at the pit time. Christensen did a pit time of 1:12. Olivier Pla 1:10. Davide Rigon, the number 71 AF Corsa Ferrari, has just done his drive-through penalty, so he's lost 32 seconds driving through the pits, plus the slowing down, plus the speeding back up. That was for an abuse of track limits that had been ongoing for some time, not only with him, but with his teammates.
Yeah, we did see Sam Bird at least 2, maybe 3 times getting a mild warning, and then they got a bit harsher on them. So for the first time today, we have a P2 car up in 4th place, just one position out of an overall podium slot, as Buemi falls down the order now in 7th, but we know he's sitting in the pits getting a lot of work done, so they're going to end up well down the order.
He will be fuming.
He will. He had a great ton of speed. He would, that car seemed every bit as quick as a Conway number 7 car.
Oh, there's no doubt. Buemi is quick. Anything he jumps in, he is quick. But he's fiery at times, if I can say politely.
He is. He was, well, you could tell by his radio communications with the team, he was very well wound up.
He was wound up like a 7-day watch, fully wound. So yeah, he's they might have to steer clear of him for an hour or two. As the number 13 leader of LMP2 exits its pit stop, that is Piquet Jr. on his way. What has Nelson Piquet Jr. driven in his career?
Yes, he's driven a lot of cars.
Team manager, car 1313. Your car is reported to have no rear lights. Please ask the driver to turn on the rear lights immediately.
Yes, there's only one reflective light on the bottom, but there should be the others a bit further off as this Toyota is having complete major service. Suspension being removed to get the drive shaft out, to get the motor unit out of the nose cone, the nose area of the tub.
That's a massive job.
Oh, that's
massive.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people I can see walking around the front of the car.
And
somebody underneath it.
Look at all the photographers out front as well, camera people.
If I was a snapper, you've got your shot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. And now you can really see the aero of the car.
Oh,
the
it's a
local
fox.
fox! Monsieur Reynard, running for his life
Well spotted, cameraman.
as he comes across the track.
So going back to car 13, Nelson Piquet, he's been reported now by the race director to have a light out, and can he switch his lights on? Well, I'm afraid it's not that simple. His lights are on, and that is loose wiring or something. So he's going to have to pit. He's going to have to get a new rear on that car, which means he's going to lose position. Ollie Jarvis is temporarily in the lead because he's yet to stop. Probably will stop this lap or next. But Piquet Jr. will now lose that lead again to probably Bruno Senna. So within the next couple of laps, I would expect Senna to get back into the lead. On board with a 9, Lapierre. He's in third position. Not a million miles behind. He had that issue early on in the race. He had contact with a bollard back in the pits. Some unhappy faces there.
You know as well as anybody, Peter, with your Japanese racing experience and the experience of Japanese teams, that expression won't change.
Yes, they don't give that much emotion, really, the Japanese. But anyway, he's clearly not very happy man right now.
In the meantime, let's catch up with what's going on with the Alpine, number 36. When he's coming into the pits, did you get any more information?
That was in French and no parlez-vous français.
Oh, okay. Okay. On my box.
So yes, he will be pitting. He's well down the order, to be fair, down in 49th place. So they've had their issues.
And that camera was well out of focus, maybe because it's vibrating itself to death. That camera was really, really shaky.
Right. Going fairly quick though. So it's not a puncture.
He hasn't got white finger through the wheel yet, has he?
And he's not stopped.
And he's not stopped.
To me, it sounded like he was saying box, box. So, yeah, strange one.
Just coming back to what you said a moment ago, the 13, the lights, the rear lights did come back on? Or
No, I didn't see it. It was running with one light, and I don't expect it to come back on. It's not a case of you're switching your lights on.
They're on or they're off?
Yeah. So let's see how it plays out. But you know, like the Toyota situation with number 8, it was a matter of time before they needed to pit and fix whatever issue they had. And I would think that the Piquet car will have to pit and get a new rear on the car, which will have the lights working. So it'll be a reasonably quick one. But we know he's just been in the pits. So, you know, he will lose a lot of time.
The Golf Porsche gets taped up at the front.
So as it's cooling down now, so they're covering that because the radiators are running too cold. The engine's actually getting too cold. So they've been running wide open because it's been hot. Now they're covering it because it's actually getting too cold.
As I said a few minutes ago about the efficiency of radiators, it's too efficient almost for this time of day. As you say, it's cooling it down too much.
Yeah.
Just going back to the accident with the number 82 Risi Competizione Ferrari that put Pierre Caffer in the wall and ultimately out of the race. Big news coming into the box. Car 7, the leader of this 24-hour race, has been reported to the stewards for overtaking under yellow flags. Mike Conway, the leader of this race, 33-second lead ahead of the Porsche of Neil Jarni, reported to the stewards for overtaking under yellows. Wow, that is a hand grenade across the table. That's big news. If he has a drive-through, he loses the lead.
Well, think about this. If there's a drive-through, it puts them absolutely out together. 33 seconds gap. So he'll come in, drive through, and he will leave at the same time as Gianni's coming by.
Well, he's been reported to the stewards.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
See how it plays out.
But the other guy who passed under yellow was Senna.
And he got a drive-through.
And he got a drive-through.
Getting a bit more difficult to see those cars out there now. All we're seeing are bright lights. But we know that's a Ford. So that's a 68, and so that is the Pla car and the Christensen car, is that right? Yes. So they're in 30th and 31st overall, but they are in pro class, and they are, what is that, 7, 8, 8th and 9th. No, 9th and 10th. Oh, and there's one of them, is that the Ford going by?
He's having a look, Our left-hand side, he's got through ahead of the Porsche.
Right, so those guys pitted, what, two laps ago?
Yeah.
Left the pits together.
Right, you keep an eye on this. News coming in from Ollie Webb, who drove the Colles at the beginning of the race. If you think about the way that he went wide at Tete Rouge, he's not that stupid. He's a pro racing driver. He doesn't just make a mistake like that. He says something came off the Toyota number 7 or 8 in front of him and wedged itself underneath his nose, which is why he had no steering. And he drifted off the road, hit the bollard, that then got kicked up and went into the nose of the number 9 Toyota behind him. So he went off, not with his own mistake, but because something fell off the 2 Toyotas in front of him.
See.
That adds up, because I thought, he doesn't make a mistake like that. Just drifts off the racetrack.
See, we had a bit of a blind spot in the race there. We didn't actually see what happened at all, did we?
But I remember him way over to the left-hand side, the Colles way over to the left.
Tete Rouge,
what are you doing out there? Because he couldn't turn the wheel because something was underneath him. At the moment, 8 hours into the Le Mans 24 hours, the Toyota number 7 leads, 37 seconds ahead of the number 1 Porsche. Toyota backing its teammate up in 3rd. Then we've got the number 13 Rebellion leading in LMP2 with its sister car right on its tail, the number 38. LMP2 is the Jackie Chan racing car. Hobbiton, Thomas Laurent, Ollie Jarvis next up, 3rd in class. The Toyota number 8 is still in the garage, it's down to 14th overall. They had a problem with the hybrid unit at the front of the car. It is being taken out and potentially a new one being put back in. In GTE Pro, it is the number 97 Aston Martin that is currently leading that class. Turner Adam Serra ahead of the 4GT of Prio Tinknell Durrani, ahead then of the Porsche the Aston, shall I say, number 95 Dane Train, Team Sorensen, and the Kiwi Richie Stanaway infiltrating those Danes. In the GTE AM class, it's Will Stevens leading in the number 84 JMW Motorsport Ferrari. Rob Smith, Will Stevens, Dries Van Tour ahead of Rob Bell, who is in the number 90 Aston Martin. That is Sally Ulick, Ewan Hankey, Rob in there, together with then in third position the number 77, which is the Dempsey Proton Racing car, Christian Reed, Matteo Caroli and Marvin Dienst. We have had some retirees. The major retiree, I suppose, is Roman Rusinov, the number 26 LMP2 car, a potential class winner.
Ok, bien reçu. On continue. On est parti pour 3 ou 4 lèvres.
I don't know what he says, but if he can see what we can see, he won't be able to see the racetrack unless the cameras work loose, which is a rare occurrence.
He's still not pitting, so it can't be that bad.
But you won't be able to hold onto the wheel by now if it's vibrating that much, Peter.
I think that was the camera, actually. I think it's just the camera issue. It's a tight fight, but as I said before, he's well down the order, isn't he? 30s.
Yeah.
Where is he? He's 48th place, so he's well down the order. Yeah, my French isn't good enough. While we were talking there, more team managers being requested to go and see the race director. He's a busy man. He's got a lot of team managers going, and this time it was the number 9 Toyota, Nicolas Lapierre, his team manager, who went to go and see the race director. The Jackie Chan car running wide. He was kind of forced over there and he just decided to take the quicker route. The 43 Keating Motorsport car in the pits. Been a few problems with that car so far today. We saw a big spin from Keating earlier on. I think that was at turn 1. He collected all the barriers and all the braking boards and what all sorts of stuff along there. Got back out and more problems now.
That's the number 17 LMP2 who's had a moment down at Tete Rouge, or on the way down after the Forest S's. That's the IDEX Sport Racing car. Lafargue Zollinger.
Yeah, been here. He basically caught the grass on the way in. He put a wheel on the grass on the way in, and obviously lost traction and spun round.
Just stopped himself going into the gravel. How close was that? Now, where are we at with the no lights on the, was it the PK car or the Senna car?
Well, maybe he's proving me wrong. Maybe he did just switch them on and it's all good.
I've had a tweet in from Matthew Pigg, and he says there was no light illuminated on the side pod, so it all starts to add up to something not quite right with the electrics or the wiring room. But he hasn't been called in, so they must have illuminated.
Maybe they're
themselves.
still arguing the toss. Maybe they're hoping they can get to the next pit window, and they'll argue all the way to that pit window, and then they'll bring him in on a normal stop.
Graham Loudon with the Manor squads running the 24 car, Tor Graves, Jonathan Hershey and John Eric Verne, together with the 25 car, Roberto Gonzalez, Simon Trummer and Vitaly Petrov.
So Senna in second place in P2, number 31 in the Rebellion, keeping his teammate honest in the other car, in the sister car, only 8 seconds behind still, as the number 98 Pedro Lamy, Aston Martin, pits. He had a new wing on at the last stop. He blew the tyre on the front right of the car, just blew the wing completely off the car, they had to spend some time. They went from the lead to second last in arm. So it's another corner going back onto the Toyota.
Oh, they're trying to
Great
line
car.
up. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh dear. It's like trying to nail jelly to the ceiling, isn't it? As they're trying to line up all of the universal joints, get them in the right place. Not enough hands, not enough arms, not enough space.
And try and do it as quickly as possible. And get the car back in.
And in a hurry, and you're sweating, and you're a weeny bit annoyed that it's happened in the first place. Dear, oh dear. Yeah, a lot of work to be done in there. And just not enough space to get all the guys in and all the boys in to try and fix that car. As Sebastian Buemi drops now down to 18th overall. He is on 125 laps. The leader is on 138. Still awaiting any news about Mike Conway having passed under yellows. It was reported to the stewards. We await to hear what's happened as the Manor comes up behind the Aston Martin, number 95, that is third in class. Marco Sorensen currently third in that class at the moment, just 25 seconds back.
I think they're slightly out of sync with the stops because they had a problem with that car, remember? It was leading earlier on and they had a problem. Can you remember what that problem was?
Well, 95, yeah, he was. He was leading when Richards came up to speak.
Yes. And it dropped to last place in the pros, and it's fought its way back up to third again. Leave it with us.
Hold on, caller. Right, the 17 that had a spin a moment back with Patrice Lafargue at the helm. Gert, you'll know what happened. You'll know what happened to that 95 Aston Martin. What was it?
I think Marco Sorensen had a puncture, didn't he? Had to come back in and they lost quite a bit of time.
Okay, that would have dropped him back. Yes, spot on. Thank you for that. On the ball as always. As we get to the bottom of how it all shakes out, essentially 4 races going on in one here, let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen. It's not just about the overall victory, but these guys are racing flat out for their race win. A little bit dusty, a little bit foggy, a little bit smoky as they make their way towards the Porsche curves. Campsite just to the right-hand side behind our camera. A few barbecues going, bit of a party. Bit of no wind at this time of night either, Peter. So, you know, even people walking back to the campsite, kicking up a little bit of dust off the paths and it then hanging over the racetrack. A little wire there. A little wire in his right hand. Look at it, it's tiny.
It's probably what it comes down to. Tiny little things like that make all the difference.
Or a spacer or whatever it was, the smallest of bit. And was that the problem that went wrong? Or you've forgotten to put that in? They don't forget to put things back in, but something's not right there.
Alex Brundle into the pits now.
Dunlop guy checking the tyres. Leave those tyres on. Yep. He'll give it thumbs up. And off he goes. So, Alex Brundle, currently 9th in class, but having done his 14th pit stop, let's wait for everybody else to make their 14th pit stop and see how that one shakes out. Don't look as if they're going very fast, but assured by Peter Dumbreck that they are going at over 210 mile an hour, those LMP2 cars.
I'm just looking down the GT Pro again. We've got Olivier Pla, who we know overtook Michael Christensen, but is now 3 places behind Christensen. We haven't seen it on camera, but somehow he's lost 3 places. And we also know that they only stopped 4 or 5 laps ago.
Only one light on the rear of that car.
So is that the 13?
It's closing in on a GTE Ferrari. Let's have a look on the left-hand side. Is it a Rebellion? Is it a Rebellion? Let's see if it's number 13 or 31.
Okay, Bruno, 4 laps to go, 4 laps to go. Nelson is the next car right in front of you.
So both brake lights come on. Let's have a look from the rear. Stay with it, stay with it, stay with it.
But we heard the race director ask for 13 to turn the lights on, and now we're looking at 31.
With only one light on.
Or potentially with only one light on.
Well, it did when it went away from the Mulsanne.
Well,
that's got
both
2
lights
on.
That's got both lights on. So,
But
yeah.
that was the same car. It only had 1 on a minute ago. As it went down to Mulsanne.
Unless, well, to be fair, they're only running 2 seconds apart, so that's why Piquet and Senna are only running 2 seconds apart.
So it's that car we need to look at. That car we need to look at. And he's not coming in.
Right, but we can see him here. That is Senna now. That's 31, that's Senna. No, we want the one in front of that, which is Piquet. 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds in front. Yes, it is. Right, I just saw it. Definitely 13 has a left rear light out.
Nelson Piquet Jr. So he's doing a near full stint. He's got 4 laps to go because they're doing 10-lap stints. So, yeah, there it is. Look, look, no light, no light, no light.
So
I'm amazed he hasn't been pulled.
I think the team have argued and said, right, we'll fix it at the next stop. Is that all right, please?
They've argued for forgiveness rather than permission. I'm a bit of an advocate of that. But, yeah.
But meanwhile, Senna is closing in on his teammate. Interesting. Same car, same team.
So then, it is the number 13 ahead of the 31. Those are the 2 Rebellions. Ollie Jarvis in the Jackie Chan car within a minute of the overall, of the lead of LMP2. That is still the number 8 Toyota. They've managed to get 1 corner on, and they've got the ratchets going as quick as they can to get that corner, those wishbones, those universal joints all in the right place, and up the pickup points on the tub, and get them all tightened up.
Daniel Serra in the 97 Aston Martin in the lead of GT Pro has just put his fastest lap in, so he's responding to Sorensen and Muller catching him up. He was being caught for a while there. Okay, so there we go. 13 must repair rear light on next pit stop. So we were right there. They've let them carry on to the next stop. They deem it okay enough that he's got 1 light on, and he's only really got, what, another 3 laps or something to go. Has he even got that 3 laps to go? He's not got long to go, so they've said you can carry on.
2.5 as he rattles
They
through
got
here.
lucky there. It will cost them, though, so Senna will overtake him in the pit stops. I don't think they'll be able to get a new rear on quick enough.
And of course, is the problem in the tail section, or is it in the car section of the wiring loop? You know, they don't know where the problem is to put that side out of the rear of the car.
Team manager, car 1313, you must fix your rear lights on the next pit stop. If after the next pit stop the rear lights are not both working, I will stop your car until it is repaired.
That's fair. I think that's very fair.
a policeman would stop you if you didn't have your lights on the public highway.
Yeah. So anyway, Piquet Jr. is under pressure from Senna, 1.7 seconds behind. You can see him, he knows he's there, he's pushing on, but Senna's got him in his sights. So when these pit stops come around, Senna's going to look to try and jump him in the pits.
Pit stop here for the one of the American Ford GTs out of Chip Ganassi Racing. It is the 69, so Briscoe Westbrook and Scott Dixon. Big car, isn't it? Long car, isn't it? Obviously on the weight limit, so deceptively looking big. You know, the sculpture around those sort of B pillar, C pillars. But he's on his way. And they've got some work to do in GTE Pro, especially with the Ford now of Dirk Muller, who has taken the lead in GTE Pro and rocketing away with a personal best.
While the Aston Martin was in the pits, he's now pitting out, so Muller must be due a stop fairly soon.
Yeah, it was 7 seconds quicker on the last flying lap,
but
he was Aston behind him.
He was very quick there. Muller, of course, winner last year in the Ford. One of the winners.
Yeah.
Is that exactly the same team? No, of course it's not, because Bourdais is not in the car anymore. So Kanaan, in his first, replacing Bourdais in his first Le Mans, has a potential for a victory here. Long way to go though, long way. A mere 15 hours.
Look at the unburnt fuel coming out of that exhaust of that 4.2 litre V8 Gibson engine. The blue hue to the flame, the
Two
little orange
rebellions,
tint.
the two rebellions nose to tail now. Senna just at the back there, he's about to whip out past that other P2 car. There he goes, got a nice toe, that would have brought him up a bit to Piquet Jr.
Right, news for the number 9 Toyota of Nico Lapierre. It's got to have the number panel changed on the side of it because it's not working. So the number 9 Toyota, that is 3rd overall, is going to have to come in for a longer stop than it maybe wanted to because the light panel needs changing on the number 9.
That would be why the race director wanted to see their team manager. I think you saw a few laps ago the number 9 race team manager to the race director.
New tail section getting ready. They're stickering it up.
Yeah, those sponsors on there.
That should have been done before today. But there we go. So that rebellion's going to be coming in a moment's time as the red number 69 Briscoe Westbrook Dixon Ford comes in for a stop. Check the pads, check the discs, check the pads, check the discs. Is it all okay? Yes. Clean the windscreen, get the rubber, get the oil, get the muck off that windscreen. You can see a little bit of flex in the windscreen as the guys are cleaning it. Clean with both hands. Look at all of that. And we've only coming up to 9 hours in this race out of 24. That's why they are completely plastered come the end of the 24 hours. Some of the teams, like BMW, when they won here in 1999, they lacquered in all the dead flies and all the squashed mosquitoes and the odd grasshopper and rubber, and it's in the BMW museum, all lacquered in, so that nobody can rub it off.
Yes, that's a popular thing to do. There's a lot of race winners exactly like that. They never run again, they just park them look at them in the museum. So Daniel Serra back into the lead after his pit stop in GT Pro. 17-second gap to Harry Tinknell in the Ford.
Still got to keep an eye on this battle in LMP2. That's it, first and second, as quick as it is coming through shot there. But one of those cars is going to be dropping down the order with this new tail section to be fitted to it. Shouldn't take long, but it's got to make sure that its lights are going to be working come the end of it.
It has a 1 minute advantage over Ollie Jarvis in the number 38 DC Chan car. Sorry.
Jackie Chan DC Racing.
Yes.
Bruno Senna has driven so well as Matthias Besch is preparing himself to get into the car. Bit of a cool retro kind of helmet colour scheme that he's got going on there. Still plugged into a garage mechanics radio so that he can hear the chitter-chatter between the chief engineer and the car that he's about to jump into. He'll disconnect that literally at the last minute before he jumps in the car and then plugs his radio into the car. Which way, one way, whichever way you like, left or right, as they come up to the Porsche curves. A blinding light as we look towards them, but it's only when they rush past us that we see that it is one of the, that's the number 9 Toyota at the front of them, the Lapierre car, circulating in about 3:24, and the cars behind him running in about 10 seconds a lap, 8 seconds a lap slower or so. Still mightily impressive for a customer car that you can purchase.
Right, so that one of them's in anyway.
I think that's Senna. It is.
And first.
And of course they're going to have to split them by a lap, otherwise there's going to be a traffic jam.
Exactly, yeah. So I would expect Senna will, if he has a normal stop.
And the number 9 coming in, and they're going to have to replace the panel on that car, the light panel, the number panel. And it must be on the other side if it's not working. Is that illuminated? That number 9 is? Yes.
Fine, yeah.
But it must be on the other side. And then they don't look as if they're going to open up the garage and wheel it in and do any repairs in there, but it looks all good. Senna stays in the car. Thumbs up from the Dunlop engineer.
So we're going to have Piquet out, it looks like. And we thought Besch would be giving him.
Oh, they have cleared the garage, haven't they? They have cleared the garage. Are they going to put the tyres on now? Yes. They filled it up with fuel. We need to stay with that shot. And is that car going to get wheeled in? No, they're going to replace the panel from here. You can see they are wiring in another one. They're only wafer thin, those panels, but they're incredible with the luminosity that they have to shine like beacons through the night. And off goes one.
It's a relatively quick change.
Well, that's working, isn't it? Yep, get it on.
Put it back into place. Any tape going in?
No, they're just going to screw it up. Not quite Zeus fasteners, but whatever they're called nowadays. And that is all in. Nearly there. Oh, long time for Lapierre to be stationary. Fritz Entinger from Porsche. Well, you can imagine what's going through his mind. But his car is still in second place, Neil Jarni. Can't get it connected. They can't get it fixed. Now the Allen Keys.
Let's get the gaffer tape out and just get that stuck up there.
Yeah, but even That'll get ripped off, Peter. Oh no, they are going to stick it. They've got clear tape over the lights. This is taking a painful amount of time. Not that I can do it quicker myself.
While we're watching this, Senna's back on track now, so we expect Piquet in fairly soon, probably this lap. So 7 and 9 in now.
And 9, they still haven't got that light panel sorted. The smallest of things, but it's a regulatory thing. Now it's going. Now they've got it sorted. Well done, guys. So the third position car is on its way. The leader of this motor race, Mike Conway, is in the pits behind us.
Yanni also in. Right, here comes 13 now.
Yanni's on an outlap, Peter. He's been in, gone.
Yeah.
That's why they're both on 11 stops.
I see, yeah. So, I'd like to see Piquet in the pits. He should be getting that new tail section on board with a 9 now, on a medium tyre, new mediums.
Here is Piquet.
Right, so Besh is getting in. Driver change there.
So they can fill it up with fuel, change the driver, can't touch the tyres for the time being. That is regulatory.
They're going to have to get that rear off as well. So they'll do the tyres, then they'll do the rear.
Then they'll give it service. Mustaz Besh getting in.
I wonder whether they'll take it in the box for that.
What's that tank going in? What's that tank?
Drink, maybe?
Topping up oil. Okay, just topping up oil. So a dry brake, and just plug it in from the outside. Looked like one of those party beer canisters, but it's under pressure, and then the oil goes in.
They are doing the rear of the car, just sitting in the pits there.
So then the light should be okay. There you go, the brand new unit going on. Snap it tight. One mechanic doing up the fitting. Get it on, he says.
So my question now is Besh going on a 5 stint?
That's not in yet, that's not seated. Now it is. And on its way. So that is a topped up motor car. Full of fuel, new rubber, new tail section. Needs to get it going again, which he does, and he's on his way.
There's Bruno Senna.
On his way. He's half around the next lap. Meanwhile,
so it did cost them extra time.
This is Michael Christensen. He is third in class in GTE Pro. An incredibly top 3 in GTE Pro covered by less than 20 seconds after 9 hours of running. BOP, spot on.
You have to think that, don't you? I mean, it's Aston, Ford, Porsche.
Krone spin. Krone car had a spin. The number 83 with Tracy Krone at the wheel.
Wouldn't be the first time that Tracy spun around here.
But he's on his way, and ever the supporter of this Le Mans 24-hour race. Let's have a look. In he goes, through the gravel and getting away with it. Dab of Oppo to the max.
Fair one, right up to the wall.
Keep it going, Kip. Don't break, don't break, don't break. Keep it going.
And
he has.
We've
Round of applause.
Many a good driver go exactly in there. Yeah, I'm not sure that's not his gravel, is it? So there's gravel. Someone else has been off there. I wonder if there's anything on the track there. Some grim faces in the Toyota box.
That number 8 Toyota is now behind the number 2 Porsche that has also had its hybrid unit changed in the front of the chassis.
So that stop for the 13 was an extra 1 minute and 8 seconds or so.
Another minute, yeah.
Longer than Bruno Senna's. it's going to take a little bit of time for Besh to get up to speed as well.
So they were nose to tail,
Yeah.
and they're now split by 67 seconds.
Yeah. So that drive-through penalty that Bruno Senna got earlier on for passing under yellow flag, negated, and advantage Senna again. So as we get ready to leave the commentary box fairly soon, I'll be very interested to come back and hear whether the P2 drivers are going to do 5 stints or whether they're going to do 4. I hear 5's going to happen.
Wow.
So Besh could be in for 5 stints now. That's a long old haul.
On the night shift as well. Is it harder on your eyes? Do you end up squinting?
You just get used to it. You know, you turn a light. You in a dark room, turn the light off. Takes a little while to adjust, and then it's no problem.
Yeah, but you've got nobody dipping their lights behind you. You've got maximum lights being shone into your mirrors. Does that wear you out? Does that make you squint?
It's certainly something to think about. If you're in one of the slower cars, and therefore you're getting passed by literally everything on the track, you've got a lot of work to do just to keep your car on the track and also to be continually looking behind you. But if you're in one of the front-running cars, front-running P1s or P2s, then you obviously can just concentrate on what's ahead and not what's behind you. So it's actually a lot easier for the front-running cars than it is for the ones near the back.
Okay, we're coming up to 9 hours completed here at this Le Mans 24 Hours for 2017. Still, Mike Conway leads this race by 63 seconds ahead of Neil Jarni in the Porsche. Conway has been into the pits and out, and he's on his first flying lap as we speak. This is the Tommy Milner Corvette that had the puncture, then the spin. He got away with it, then he had another spin on the way into the pits that left him beached on the pit lane entry, but he is now full of gasoline and he's on his way. Milner in the 64. Okay, right, a bit of a moment here, so we're going to hand over to Julian Porter and Giles Dawson to take you through the night. Peter and I will be back in some 6 hours' time. So, Julian, I'm sure you're ready to rock and roll for this night stint.
Limbering up nicely there.
There's never a dull moment here at Le Mans. We've had a bit of drama. The leader of this motor race, Mike Conway, has been reported to the stewards for overtaking under a yellow flag. We haven't had a decision back from the stewards about that, but we did see a similar report of Bruno Senna passing under a yellow flag, and he got a drive-through penalty, which lost him about 32 seconds. So if you get a drive-through, you're going to lose about half a minute. So that's the big question mark in my mind as we leave.
Saying
hand
that,
over
he
to
does
our
have
colleagues.
a 1 minute 4. I don't know how that's happened, but
No, all right.
last time we looked, it was 33 seconds. And
Yeah.
now he's 1 minute 4 ahead.
But Jarni was losing 5 seconds a lap here and there, and 6 seconds a lap here and there, and he's just lost 2 seconds a lap on the last lap. And since we last looked, that's probably added up to 30 seconds to make a minute. It's sort of crept up on us. Yeah, Gertz is down there in the pits, and Will Stevens has just got out of the number 84 JMW Motorsport Ferrari. It's Dries van Tor who's just got in, but Will is with Gert. Take it away, Gert.
Triple stint, I think it was. How is the track at the moment?
To be honest, it feels really good. I really tried to not push too hard at the start because I knew that we wanted to get a longer stint. So in the end, I felt super comfortable. I think the pace was really strong at the end, and I could manage to push pretty hard. So it's nice that now I believe we're in the lead, so at least we can try and control the gap a little bit more. So at least you're controlling the race rather than trying to attack, which is a really nice place to be, to be honest, heading into the night. But the car feels really good. Trying to keep it nice and under control, not use too many curbs, and we'll see where we end up. But so far so good, and enjoying it.
There's been some incidents between LMP2 cars and GT cars all through the race. How difficult is it out there?
To be honest, it's pretty hard. I mean, the P2 cars are very quick now, and I think there's a few people with not so much experience driving obviously very quick cars. For me, the biggest problem is Porsche curves. You know, they're coming up so quick behind, and they always try and go around the outside. And because I've been in the P2 car, now I'm in a GT car, it's a lot harder than a GT car, and we're moving around quite a lot. But I know what it's like also being in the P2 car. We're all pushing flat out, we're all pushing hard, so, you know, everyone wants to lose as little time as possible in traffic, so it would be nice if we could have a tiny bit more respect from the quicker guys, but that's racing.
Thank you, Will.
Thank you for that, Gert. Julian Porter and Giles Dawson in the box for the next 6 hours. They call this the night shift, don't they, in radio? And, Giles has come prepared. We've kind of got some refreshments, so we're all right as one of the 4 drivers jumps out and heads back into the garage. I didn't see who that was. Apologies for that. I was just making sure we had all our information in the right place. But the Julian and Giles show is with you for the next 6 hours as we head into that. The 69 car. That's who that is. Let me try and work out, because I still haven't gathered who is in that car.
Ryan Briscoe
getting out.
I didn't see who's gone in just yet.
No, not yet, but that's okay. We can live with that. That's fine. And yeah, here we go. Waiting for that answer, notification on what is going to happen with the 7 Toyota. If anything, nothing might happen.